Can you trust a chatbot with your drug questions? That is the multi-million-dollar question. Today, I want to dive into how the FDA, FTC, and OIG are reacting, surprisingly, or not reacting to this trend. And just to be clear, this is not legal advice. Let's start with the Food and Drug Administration. Earlier this year, the FDA put out a draft guidance on AI in drug development and AI in medical devices. There are, as you might know, software as a medical device. There are also wellness apps, all of which can and should be considered. So this is all useful, but they're all silent on answering patients' pharmaceutical questions. They're thinking about back-end use cases, not front-end question and answers. This means that if your company is exploring a chatbot that explains side effects, that discusses dosing, or even gets into interactions, you might be in a gray zone. The FDA does not have the framework to bless that use just yet, but don't mistake silence for approval. If those bots cause harm or wander into promotional claims, the FDA can and will step in. This is exactly why clients come to the Kulkarni Law Firm. We help you stress test whether your chatbot is a neutral patient resource or a regulatory liability. With Ceres, our document sharing platform, you can share which responses are vetted and which need escalation, and which should never go live without human review. And that's how you keep innovation without losing compliance. Now let's talk FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. If the FDA is about safety, the FTC is about truth. Their stance is simple. There is no AI exemption. If your chatbot misleads consumers, if it pretends to be a doctor, or if it makes claims you cannot substantiate, you're probably in violation. And they're not bluffing. The FTC is already investigating AI therapy chatbots for practicing medicine without a license. There already is the OpenAI case outside the FTC that's talking about something similar, where someone committed suicide because of depending on the chatbot. Complaints have been filed. States like Illinois, Nevada, Utah, and New York are layering on new restrictions. Some require licensed supervision, others just require ironclad disclosure that this is a bot. So picture this. You've got a pharma chatbot fielding side effect questions. If it suggests a use not approved by the FDA, even inadvertently, that's not just a misstep. It could be seen as deceptive marketing. And if you're touching Medicare patients, now you've crossed the line into OIG and DOJ territory as well. And that's why companies call us at the Kulkarni Law Firm before they roll these systems out. We run the risk analysis, we build the disclaimers, we set up escalation paths so that your bot informs without overpromising. The Office of Inspector General has not issued specific rules on pharma chatbots, but don't let that lull you to sleep. Their job is fraud, waste, and abuse in federal healthcare programs. If a chatbot steers patients towards off-label use, and that leads to improper Medicare claims, the OIG will not stay silent. And speaking of enforcement, the DOJ just stood up a new healthcare fraud task group that's targeting digital health and AI misuse. They even had the recent settlement. We've covered this depth on a recent episode of the podcast. If you haven't listened to it, it's worth listening to. Follow our page on LinkedIn. The message is clear. The government is sharpening its knives for AI-related misconduct. Now let's go beyond regulators. Let's talk science. Studies show that chatbots get drug information wrong between 5 and 13% of the time. Worse, they're wrong with confidence. And that's dangerous because patients assume that the answer is vetted. The recent OpenAI lawsuit from the parents of the kid who decided to commit suicide shows these risks. Other research shows responses are written at too high a reading level. This makes these answers inaccessible to many patients. Put together, you've got a tool that feels helpful, but can misinform or even harm. And remember, regulators care about outcomes. If your chatbot nudges a patient in the wrong way, the government will not be interested on whether the intent was innocent. So where does this leave us? My advice? You can explore patient education, but do it carefully. Here are some initial guardrails. Disclose up front that it's not medical advice. Never provide dosing or personalized recommendations to the extent you can help it. Build an escalation to a live healthcare professional. Audit responses frequently. Lock down privacy. You're collecting health data in many cases. HIPAA compliance may be something you need to explore. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, That's where we come in. At the Kulkarni Law Firm, we've helped pharma and device companies navigate exactly these issues. And with Ceres, you don't just tell regulators you've got controls, you show them. All chatbots are persuasive and fast, but in pharmaceuticals, they're risky without oversight. The FDA has not endorsed them, the FTC is watching closely, and the OIG and DOJ are sharpening their enforcement tools. If you're considering this path, reach out to us. Compliance is not optional. Call, click, or email